What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the corner. I am the DM as always, and today I want to talk a little bit more about Dragon Age Veilguard. Specifically, not really anything to do with how terrible the gameplay is or anything like that. I feel like that's been done enough, but rather this 4-minute video, which claims to be a deep dive into the mage build that they used for their video. Now, I know that the people that were probably in charge of like making this video and whatnot are not video editors. They're not people who make videos for a living. Because if they were, they would know that 4 minutes is not enough to be a deep dive. It is a dive, essentially. And I wanted to go through this video and just kind of point out some of the glaring weaknesses and flaws in this video, and why it's bad, why this video does nothing but just ruin the image of the Veilguard, what little image it has left anyway.
I'm Hillary Heidi, a producer at BioWare. Let's take a closer look at the mage build we featured at the recent State of Play. I call this build the Dragon Killer because my gear and skills have been optimized to take on a powerful boss, this Ice Dragon. As a mage, I can switch between two.
So, first mistake, naming a build the Dragon Killer because it is designed to kill one very specific boss is a bad name. It just is. It would be better to name it something like the Ice Dragon Killer or something like that, because it's not designed to kill dragons. It's designed to kill one ice dragon.
Two weapon sets, a staff for ranged attacks, or an elemental orb and dagger for close quarters combat. I'm facing off against an ice dragon, which is vulnerable to fire, so I've equipped Earthemiral's Ash as my elemental orb. It reduces enemy damage, makes burning last longer and do more damage, and increases the cap on burning stacks. My dagger, Thorn of Misfortune, gives me access to the physical damage type and synergizes with my affliction-based build.
So here's the second problem is she makes this emphasis that by having the dagger it gives her access to the physical damage type, but then does not explain why that is relevant or important in any way, shape, or form. What is so important about physical damage that you feel the need to bring it up?
Increasing the damage of arcane bombs, which I build up with repeated orb attacks.
All of that stuff is just stuff we knew. We know about the weapon set. We know how the fucking class works. This is all information that is the most common basic knowledge ever.
I've further powered up
Hang on. Sorry about that spam.
my afflictions by equipping this death mask, which will give me a nice damage boost.
So another issue that they have here is they want to show this like high level in-game boss, and then they show a piece of they've shown two pieces of equipment that just have a locked trait entirely. This, if you're wanting to show something off, it's like this is why this is good. You don't want to have shit that's locked off, because it just makes the build look weaker than it should be. Like this ability right here. So applying 3 unique afflictions triggers an explosive that deals damage relative to the total stacks consumed. Given that this person is going with an affliction-based build, this is something that you would want. And they would have 3 because they have Living Bomb, they have Burning, and they're going to have Shock. So this would be procced constantly and would be insanely useful. It's also something that could be very easily repeatedly applied because of the way the arcane bomb works.
Notice my armor set looks a bit different than the icon. That's because I'm making use of the game's transmog system.
You shouldn't be doing that. For this kind of thing, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not even I don't even care about the actual armor look that I'm doing. I just care about the effect. That's bad. And it's bad for 2 reasons. One, it's bad because then we don't know what you're actually wearing, right? Like, It's just bad. It's not like game breaking bad or anything like that. It's more like an opinion, I guess. But it's bad. Two, the reason why it's bad is because it tells developers of newer games that the appearance of some armor just doesn't matter, and that you should only put in a couple of pieces of armor that actually look really cool because that's the only thing that players are going to want to use. Now, I don't mind having a transmog system. I love having transmog systems. But for you to put so much emphasis on the transmog system, it's insane.
To set my appearance to
You should not be doing that.
robe I purchased in Docktown. Let's switch over to my character's skill tree, where I further enhanced my ability to take on this ice dragon. Elemental Catalyst gives my abilities plus 15% bonus damage. In this case, fire damage, since both my staff and orb are fire-based.
So, it says here, I'm going to read the full thing because she didn't. Abilities gain plus 15% bonus damage based on the damage type of the staff and orb. That is why it's increasing her fire damage, is because her staff and orb are fire-based. She doesn't make this apparent at all. It's just, I get more damage because I took it. Why? If you're going to do a deep dive, you need to explain why you need these things and why you want them. You want this specifically because your staff and orb are fire damage based, and you are using fire damage as your primary source of damage. This is another reason why this video is a really bad deep dive.
In this case, fire damage, since both my staff and orb are fire-based. Inner Focus generates 25% extra mana from successful light attacks, and that number is doubled against enemies suffering from an affliction, like burning.
Why is this relevant? Why do we care? Because from every single bit of gameplay I have ever seen about this game since its announcement, mana has never been an issue. Ever. In any of these gameplay reviews or any of these gameplay previews. Mana and stamina, energy, whatever the fuck they call it, has never been an issue. So why do I care about that?
I'll generate 50% extra mana, allowing me to cast powerful spells like Meteor more often. Let's take a look at some additional skills I've unlocked by choosing a specialization for my rook.
And I know some people are going to be like, oh, I should just said so she cast more meteors. Why is that relevant? How much mana does Meteor cost? How much mana do you have? Why should I care? Additionally, in the entire gameplay feature that she showed, she cast 2 meteors. That's it. And she only cast them when it wasn't moving or when there was a stagger break she could do. That's it. It's not like she was trying to spam them out. So again, I ask, what is the point in being like, you need to take this mana node to get more mana? Why? Why does it matter?
In this case, Spellblade, which blends.
These are things that you need to make clear when you are doing a deep dive on a build.
Magic and melee. With the electrical burns passive, my fire attacks stack even more afflictions on my targets, applying the shocked affliction whenever I apply burning, and vice versa. And finally, my Spellblade ultimate ability, Thunderous End, unleashes a massive amount of damage, shocking enemies in a wide radius. Perfect against a large target like a dragon.
It's not perfect against large targets. Large targets take up a much greater area, which means if you're trying to use this on anything that isn't a whole bunch of small things, or if you're trying to use this in a fight where there are a lot of enemies, but one really big one, like a fucking dragon, you're going to be hitting far fewer things, and it's going to be bad. So that notion that it's perfect for large targets, no, it's not.
Let's return to our battle with the Ice Dragon to talk about synergies and combos. Here, I've got the dragon staggered. This is my opportunity to deal as much damage as possible while it's down. Detonations are a great way to do this. A detonation can be set up with Lucanus' Debilitate ability, which applies the Sundered status, followed by Rook's Dark Squall, which detonates sundered targets.
Oh yeah, and right there, this ability applies chilled, so that's a 4th affliction, which means that locked ability that does a bunch of damage whenever you apply 3 different afflictions, it would get even more value here.
I'll follow this up with Tasha's Fire Breath to apply burning damage. Normally, I'd have to wait for my companions to cool down before I could use their abilities for another combo. But I've got a secret weapon up my sleeve, the Dreadwolf's Lyrium Dagger. My dagger is equipped with 3 runes. I'll toggle to the Regroup rune and activate it, instantly refreshing my companion cooldowns.
Why is it important to note that it has 3 different runes? What do the other 2 runes do? Why is that an important thing to note in this build? That's yet another thing that if you're doing a deep dive into a build, you want to make clear. If the other 2 runes don't matter, don't bring them up. Just bring up the 1 rune that's important for the build. And be like, the other 2 runes don't matter. You can put whatever your personal preference is. Or just don't even mention them.
With my companion's full suite of abilities available, let's finish this thing. I'll once again use Lucanus' Debilitate to set up a detonation, and this time I'll trigger it with my Meteor attack, all while Tasha's Fire Breath keeps the dragon burning. And I'll finish the job with my powerful ultimate ability, Thunderous End.
By the way, the Thunderous End there. Oh, I'm going the wrong fucking way. Whoops. So the Thunderous End here does less damage, does less than a quarter damage of what her Meteor did. And this is supposed to be an ultimate ability. Like, the health bar moved as far as my mouse is wide on his health bar. Meanwhile, the Meteor did like more than twice that damage. So for an ultimate ability, if you're trying to show off why it's so powerful and why it's an ultimate ability, really bad example. Really bad example. So, yeah, this is not a deep dive. It's hardly even a dive at all. And just one last thing I want to mention before I wrap up this video. They released this an hour ago. Why was this not put into the PlayStation live stream? Why would you put a whole bunch of remasters and not this brand new game? It just doesn't make any sense, Sony. So yeah, Dragon Age Veilguard, every single video they release just makes the game look worse. That's it. Thank you all for coming to my corner. I've been the DM. If you liked the video, hit like, hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, hit dislike, leave a comment, let me know why, and I will see you all next time.